Synthetic biology is all about making biology easier to engineer and trying to design cells and genetic circuits to make them robust and reliable.
We are a water planet. The fact that we live on land is almost an anomaly. So if you begin to think of the ocean as having memory, well then the ocean is Earth's brain. To be better guardians of Earth's health, we have to be better guardians of Earth's brain.
We're interested in spatial and temporal mapping of microbes, both in the human body and in various physical environments around the planet.
People have been using ants and other social insects as a model system to, for example, understand how teams might work without a leader, or how we can make robots that can work together without a central control.
Whether we're talking about children with autism, stroke patients, elderly with Alzheimer's, there's a general problem of how we provide one-on-one care to vast populations in need.
I'm not one of these scientists who was on a linear pathway to becoming a scientist. The one consistent thing going for me through my youth was playing the piano, playing other people's compositions, and not feeling creative myself. Fast forward through my life and I ended up as a research tech, and the first experiment that I did, I felt a surge of creativity and I felt, wow, this is it. I'm going to be a scientist. So NAKFI convinced me to come to the Deep Blue Sea Conference in 2016.
The participants are just so aware that they're in a place where something special could really happen.
We can't even go there unless we can demonstrate viability and measurability like a steam can.
I think we're all sort of at the point where we don't quite know what's going to happen, and that's pretty exciting.
Even if people are just going to do engineering or product development, they like being in an intellectually stimulating environment that has the arts, that has music, that has that.
Being truly interdisciplinary, where you step out of science and start interacting with non-scientists, that was a challenge for me. Just walking into the room, we were all like walking on eggshells, looking around, okay, how's this going to work? We were at a moment of peak discomfort, trying hard to come up with something new at the interface here between ocean science and something on the artistic side of things. And honestly, it happened when Daniel the artist, standing at the whiteboard, just turned around to us and said, well, does the ocean have memory? And that was the bingo moment for me, and I jumped off my seat. Okay, does the ocean have memory? Everything scientifically that I'd ever done could be put in those terms immediately in my head. The ocean is filled with memory agents, the equivalent of neurons, and the ocean is acting as our brain. If things we're doing to the ocean causes it to lose important memories that it has built up over its time on the planet, organisms may no longer be able to survive the insult of climate warming. On the other hand, the ocean could be making new memories about how to defend against other types of pollutants that we may wash into the ocean in the not too distant future. As well as wanting to find ways that science could be done differently, we now have funding to bring together scientists and artists to address specific aspects of ocean memory. That might change how we approach human behavior, how we approach the decisions we make, the policies we make. We are bold in wanting to find a way to change the way the whole human society thinks about the ocean. What else can I say? Except that I've been devoted to this since then.
Hello, I'm Bandit. Today we will be playing a button game.
So the goal of socially assisted robotics is to create machines that can complement human care so that people can really receive up to 24/7 care that can motivate people to do things that they need to do but they find hard to do.
I live in the Interaction Lab here at USC, and I like to help people.
So I was really fortunate to be invited to be part of the NAKFI conference. It was inspiring, and since we want to create something new, that bit of spark, that inspiration was really important.
Oh, well.
With the NAKFI grant, we'd have the ability to pursue something that we wouldn't have otherwise done. No one had really taken robots ever and put them together with Alzheimer's patients. Alzheimer's patients were very happy to interact with robots and that they improved on their task through the robot's coaching. Now we're actually looking at using the results from our NAKFI work to look at how we can help the elderly age in place and really prolong their lifespan as well as improve their quality of life. NAKFI really does a wonderful service to the community there, where it allows us to do something that might really be transformative.
The Night Lab mostly develops technologies for reading out microbial communities in different habitats. Essentially what we try to do is understand those communities at the DNA level. And how enthusiastic are you about just like basically taking Beyond Bacteria in-house rather than continuing to? NAKFI seed grants have been really exciting. In addition to funding risky research, having the flexibility to be able to pivot and redirect the funding in a new direction if your initial idea didn't work out has been great from my perspective. So for example, we thought, wouldn't it be fascinating to look at antibiotic resistance directly in specimens ranging from a few hundred to a few tens of thousands of years old. We had an important roadblock in this work, which is that we couldn't actually get good DNA out of a lot of the samples that we had obtained that we thought would have been preserved very nicely. The solution we came up with was to reconceptualize the problem, looking at instead the Yanomami, a previously uncontacted group of humans in South America. The microbiome of Yanomami revealed a whole lot of fascinating things. In fact, the diversity of the Yanomami was the highest microbial diversity that we had observed in any human group up to that point. And so the NAKFI seed grants have been very useful. Being able to do that redirection to get the most impact has been really exciting. That really allows us to take risks and to break new ground.
The NAKFI grant was to bring together leaders in industry, leaders in academia, and leaders in government to lay out the vision for how synthetic biology could be used for resource utilization in space. However, since the workshop, we now have a number of companies who are now interested in this area. So I think it's perfect pump priming for the government to invest in this technology, and then now's the time for industry to follow up and pick up where the government started. The NAKFI grant to hold the workshop really laid the foundation for a new program in space synthetic biology, which NASA set up the following year.
I study how collective behavior emerges from actions of the individuals that comprise the group. I study ants and bees. They construct a nest together, they take care of the young together without central control. So the ants came from in here. This is basically the surface. And they would go into the tunnels and into these chambers. So I attended one NAKFI conference, the Collective Behavior Conference, and it was a fantastic experience. It brought together people from different fields. That turned into a writing seed grant to put together a workshop that brought architects, social scientists, and biologists together. One of the things that came out of that collaboration is starting to think about, do animals have health-related behaviors that can be promoted by the built environment? In humans, we know that built environment can influence chronic disease through influencing their diet, influencing their stress, and even influencing their mental health. If you have a corridor with lots of closed doors, then you don't have as much opportunities to interact unless people leave their door open. Being able to promote these interactions between people maybe with depression, and if you can help people through the built environment, that could have some big impacts on public health. This would be a chamber that's connected to through a tunnel to another chamber and might go deeper into another chamber. And so there's many ways in which two fields can merge two great and more synergistic ideas. For example, how we can make robots that can work together without a central control, or large-scale ideas about the way the cities work in terms of traffic flow. Just like the ants have to interact with each other, that'll be very similar process that these self-driving cars will have. One of the challenges in Los Angeles is the traffic. Maybe one day self-driving cars will resolve this.
Computing revolution and the biological revolution, it's already up there in terms of huge impact that it's having on the economy.
Ants can't see red, so they think it's dark when we put the red, but then we can still put lights and film them and see what's going on.
How long do we think that'll take?
What I really liked about an NAKFI conference it was that we fought for our worldviews, and at the same time we found colleagues that really aligned with what we believed in.
It felt like all of the pathways of my life had just merged. And I was with artists who felt that was a cool thing to do too.
By staying very siloed, we're missing out on both questions that we can ask and ways to answer them.